Last week saw the announcement of the PS5 Pro, which will be releasing on the 7th of November, with pre-orders starting on the 26th of September. The price is the highest we've seen for a mainline console ever, coming in at £699 or $699 US. If you ask me, this is an insane asking price for a console that still doesn't have a huge library of games to play, and with it looking not that different to the base console, which was already a powerhouse. If you do decide to pick this one up, you can expect to see ray tracing improvements and a new spectral super resolution, which is another AI upscaling tool similar to FSR and DLSS. Also, not included in that price is the disc tray. You have to pay an extra £99 or $79. On the 11th of September, Steam announced the Steam Families for all users. There used to be a feature like this, but it was limited to families that shared the same computer. It can now be used in different households, although there have been conflicting reports on it working if you are in different countries from your other family members. This new sharing feature is great, as it means that you are able to share games with anyone in your family and even play games from the same library. However, it doesn't mean that you can play the exact same game at the exact same time. If you want to do this, you and the other family member will need to buy 2 copies of the game. For example, if you and your brother both want to play Portal 2 together, then he will also need to buy a copy of the game. It also looks like not every single game will be available, as developers have to choose if they want to allow their games to be shared or not. Be careful when sharing online games this way, however, as if one of your family members gets banned while playing a game that you are sharing with them, then you will both be banned. This week we have a bunch of free games available. Twitch Prime has some great games up for grabs, including Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Lego Lord of the Rings, Greedfall Gold Edition, Forager, Cat Quest 2, Hard West 2, Industria, and Arcade Paradise, all available to claim for the GOG store. While you can also pick up Trek to Yomi, Loop Hero, and Kiwi for the Epic Games Store. Speaking of the Epic Games Store, this week's offerings are Rugrats and Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, which will switch over to Toem and The Last and Aftermath on the 19th. Not my kind of games, but I hope someone out there enjoys them for free. Recently added games on the Xbox Game Pass include Star Trucker is a Euro Truck sim-like game in space where you will have to manage your cargo, fuel, and your oxygen levels as you deliver to increasingly dangerous areas. You'll be upgrading your rig to increase its durability, fuel efficiency, and storage capacity, managing reputation with other truckers in space, while gaining XP that will earn you skill points to level up your character, which can change the way you play the game by unlocking different types of jobs, from long-haul jobs to delivering dangerous cargoes. This received fairly middling reviews on OpenCritic, receiving a low 40% from only 6 critic reviews. However, on Steam, the game sits at a 74% mostly positive from nearly 2,000 reviews, often mentioning the unbalanced game economy, hardcore survival elements, and the recommended difficulty settings being too hard. Age of Mythology Retold Standard Edition is a remake of the classic 2002 RTS with updated graphics. If you want access to the new god Freya, or the old PNGs for the gods from the first game, look forward to forking out an extra £38 for the Retold edition of the game, which also includes content from an unknown Season 1 and 2. Or, if you just want those original PNGs, that'll be an extra £5. OpenCritic has this at an 89% strongly recommended, with the average being brought down by Corey Wells from Hardcore Gamer, who mentions the lack of polish compared to similar titles and that the AI logic is lacking. On the other hand, we have a 9.5 from Brendan Fryer, CG Magazine, who says, quote, Age of Mythology Retold is a masterful blend of nostalgia and innovation that fans and newcomers will both cherish. Steam reviews also have this at an 89% very positive, mentioning huge improvements all around, but also having the same issues with multiplayer as they did in the first game. Mudrunner Expeditions, the third game in the Mudrunner series from Saber Interactive, bringing more of the same on what looks to be a beautiful, expansive map set in the wilderness. bring up to 4 players to enjoy a new and improved physics system and new tools, including the reconnaissance drone. Again, strong reviews on OpenCritic, however, the Steam reviews are painting a different picture at a mixed 54%. These reviews mention that the game hasn't changed enough from the previous games, while also losing out on content that was included before, like trailers and different mission types. While the new mission types added are boring and repetitive, like scanning a lake for fish or using the metal detector drone. This game has been out on Steam since March this year, and the review score has stayed mixed since its release. And finally, Riders Republic from Ubisoft. This is another one of those extreme sport games where you can snowboard, ski, mountain bike, wingsuit, and paraglide, which came out in October 2021. If you're into these types of games, you've definitely already played this one, as it's one of the best extreme sport games out there. If you haven't played it yet and you've already got Game Pass, you should try it out, as I think there's a lot to enjoy here, and you can bring up to 49 other friends with you into the game world. This has a strong 73% on OpenCritic and a very positive 83% on Steam. A quick section to cover the games coming out this month for the PS Plus subscribers. We've got MLB The Show 24, Little Nightmares 2, and the new Harry Potter Quidditch Champions game, where you can either play PvP or do the campaign as a team starting at the Weasleys and then working your way to compete in the Quidditch World Cup. More on this later in the video. Now onto the recent releases. Dale and Dawson Stationery Supplies. This game looks like a mix of Among Us and The Office. You are an employee at a stationery company who is randomly assigned one of 3 roles. The manager, whose job it is to ensure productivity and firing the slackers. The slacker's goal is to procrastinate while also not getting caught. This can include things like playing Minesweeper, installing malware on colleagues' computers, or setting fire to bins around the office. And the specialist. These are the rest of the players. It is their job to complete the various tasks that will keep the office running smoothly. Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Released on the 6th of September with a mighty 93% on OpenCritic. This game looks to bring both the Ace Attorney Investigations games into one collection with a new HD look. This is the first time these 2 games have been playable on modern PCs and last-gen consoles, having only ever been released on handheld devices. Strangely, there looks to be no plans to bring this to current-gen gaming consoles, and only the PS4 is getting a physical release copy. The demo is now available to try the game before you buy. Space Marine 2, the second installment of my favourite Warhammer 40k game, sees Captain Titus becoming a Primaris Marine, taking the battle to the Tyranids and then the Forces of Chaos. Included in the base game is 3 modes: the fairly short campaign, which can be played through either solo or with friends, the Operations Co-op PvE mode, which you will be spending most of your time in after you have completed the main campaign. This mode can also be played solo, but it is recommended to bring along friends as the friendly AI is lacking. And the PvP mode, which pits 2 teams of 6 Space Marines against each other. This is something I've been playing recently, and I've been really enjoying the campaign and the PvP mode. Subscribe for a review that I will be posting later on the channel. 0 Hour, a SWAT sim game, finally released into 1.0 on the 9th, but to mixed reviews on Steam, went into the game requiring de novo to play. The janky, friendly AI that blocks doorways, and the broken multiplayer. After its release, the game has only peaked at 549 players, which is a far cry from its 4,288 peak player count 3 years ago. I Am Your Beast looks like it's already on its way to being a cult classic, as it's released to a very positive Steam review and a strong 92% of critics recommending it on OpenCritic, but with only 225 all-time peak player count, which is lower than its 269 player count on the demo from the June 2024 Next Fest. I see this game doing much better on a steeper sale a few months down the line, so we'll have to check back on this one next time it goes on sale. This is a first-person action-packed shooter focused on getting through the level and killing every enemy in the quickest and coolest way possible, like a Hotline Miami or the recently released Angerfoot. This game is also on an introductory sale of £15.07 or $17.99 US until the 24th. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. This game was very disappointing. It was released for free this month on the PlayStation's Essentials subscription, and I was excited to check it out. After I launched the game and played a few matches of the first Hogwarts Cup career mode, I realised how bare and empty the game felt. Apart from the career mode, which has 4 cups, the first cup just being the tutorial, and the multiplayer, there really isn't that much else to do other than grinding for the season pass. The game of Quidditch from the Harry Potter books was an impossible game to make real, but it looks, at least, that Unbroken Studios have managed to make it playable, if a bit boring. It also looks like the critics are agreeing, as it got a fair 24% on OpenCritic and a peak of only 6,500 players on Steam, which has quickly dropped to only 675 of the time of writing. Compare this to Hogwarts Legacy with its peak of 879,000 players at launch and its current 20,000, it looks like something that will not be getting a sequel, and I'm doubtful it will even get many improvements in the form of updated game modes or challenges. The launch of Quidditch Champions also saw a rise from 8,400 players on the 29th of August to 31,500 on the 1st of September for Hogwarts Legacy, meaning that more people went back to play Hogwarts Legacy than are currently playing Quidditch Champions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to come back next week for more gaming news.